Welcome to the Scholarhead Career Coaching Show. So today's session objective is how to become a DevOps engineer. If you are having a plan to become the DevOps engineer, so I will show you a path how can become the DevOps engineer. In between, if you can hear me properly, please do confirm through the chat window. You can hear me properly. Can you confirm through the chat? And guys, here if you're coming to the channel first time, so I request you to please do subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the bell icon so that the information about the such webinar you will get notified. So everyone please do confirm through the chat window if you can hear me properly. Okay. Thank you Omkar for the confirmation. So before starting the session, how many people are here willing to become the DevOps engineer? Can you tell me through the chat window? Do you have any plan to become the DevOps engineer? Anyone? If you're having the plan to become the DevOps engineer, can you let me know what is your current role? Are you a developer? Are you a QA engineer, system administrator, project lead, tech lead, solution architect? What is your current role? Can you tell me through the chat window? What is your current role? Okay, Prasad is saying he is a developer. Lakshmi is saying he is a .NET developer. Joy is saying he is a Azure engineer. Okay. Rajaram is saying he is also a project lead plus senior developer. Jayesh Rohit. Frank Do also a developer. So guys, quickly do let me know what is your current role. Are you a developer? Are you a system administrator? Are you fresher? Are you a QA engineer? Whatever the current role you having, please do let me through the chat window. It will help me to deliver the session. Okay. So Subhojit is a fresher. Otherwise, maximum people are here developer. Okay, that's good. Omkar is saying he is a fresher. So, in today's session, you will have a clear picture who can become a DevOps engineer if you having a plan. So, what are the things you should learn? I will tell you in the today session. Even what are the queries you having about the Azure DevOps engineer, about the AWS DevOps engineer, or if you're looking for any other path exploration. So, do let me know. I will try to explain all the things there. So I'm going to maximize the PPT part here now. I hope the PPT is more clear to everyone. So let's try to understand what is the DevOps first. So before starting the session, let me introduce to myself. So my name is Shailendra Chauhan. I'm the founder and CEO of .NET Tricks and Scholarhead. I'm a technical consultant, an active speaker. I'm the Microsoft MVP from the last 7 years. I'm the Microsoft certified Azure professional in developer and in DevOps engineer. I have written more than 500 plus articles on various technologies. And so far, I have trained more than 1 lakh plus student using my live session, using my webinar, using my self-paced video-based courses. So this is about me in brief. So let's understand next thing that is about what is the DevOps. So when it is coming to the DevOps, so DevOps is a set of practices that combine the three things: people, process, and the tools, so that we can provide the continuous delivery to our customer. So ultimately, the main idea behind the DevOps is we have to continuously provide the value to our customer. Because before the DevOps, what happens here, we having a separate planning for the development, we having the separate planning for the deployment. So there are two things are involved in the project development. One is development plan, one is release plan. After the introduction of the DevOps, we are combining them together. So they are not the separate plan. There is no separate release for the development activity and for the DevOps. Sorry, for the deployment, we have been now combined things over there. So ultimately, the DevOps is helping us to automate the build process, to automate the release process, so that constantly we can provide the releases of our software, of our website, so that we can provide the continuous delivery of values to the customer. So ultimately, DevOps is providing a way where the developer and the operation team now having the unified timeline of release and the deployment. Even it is going to decrease the communication gap between these two teams. Because before the DevOps approach, we having the two separate deadline. One deadline was decided by the development team, one deadline was decided by the operation team. Now the things are common. This is the so that's why you can see in this picture we having the picture for the DevOps is just like we having the two circle here. In the one circle, you can see we having the things related to the development process. In another one, we having the things related to the operation team. Yeah. So now the question is here: what is the need of the DevOps? So as I said here in the traditional process, the development part and the operation part means the deployment part. These two are the isolated activities. So we having the two teams before the DevOps. One team dedicated to complete the development things. One thing was dedicated for the operational. So what happens if there is a delay from the development team? Of course, there would be a delay at the operation team as well. So what happens here? A project is going to be releases into two phases. First, we complete the development, then the operation team decide when they are going to release the software. And even if there is a not a proper communication between these two teams, of course there is a more delay. So what is the way we can reduce the time of the releases to deliver the value to a customer? It can be done when we will combine these two people together. When they will have a unified, I will say a common deadline to deploy the software. So in that case, we are going to automate the things because what happens here before the Davos, we having a manual way of the deployment to a different environment. So what happens here? Usually we having the dev environment, we having the testing environment, we having the staging environment, we having the production environment. So we provide the releases to different environment. If let's say by the way you are missing any configuration, it can be a configuration related to the SMTP detail, it can be the configuration related to the database, it can be the configuration related to the some other things. If anything you missed, because human having a behavior of doing the mistake. So what happens here? We have to rectify the things. A lot of time we need to invest in testing, deployment. So, so what we are doing before the DevOps, we are putting a lot of effort for building, for deployment. So what the DevOps is doing? DevOps is going to automate the things so that we can save the time of build, we can save the time of releases, we can save the time of testing as well. Now you have to focus on how we can make the better architecture for application. We have to focus on how we can optimize the solution so that we can provide the better experience to the end user in terms of performance, in terms of UI, in terms of many other things over there. So, so the time we are going to save if we are going to use the DevOps, because ultimately the manual deployment, the manual testing is going to be now automated through the DevOps. Even now, the dev team and the operation team having a common deadline. They're having a common sprint. Before that, they having a different deadline. So ultimately, the time span has been reduced to provide a sprint release now after the introduction of DevOps. And this is the things we need, because if you're looking around you, when it is coming to the Facebook, when it is coming to the Twitter, when it is coming to the others enterprise grade application, so they are providing the releases frequently. Even sometimes you have seen within a 1 week period, they provide the two releases, they provide the three releases also. So on the weekly basis, they are pushing, they are improving their platform. And this frequent releases is possible if the things are automated. If the things are not automated, you cannot provide the releases. Even you have seen the 5 to 6 year back, even 3 to 4 years back, we having a tendency to release the software on yearly basis, on let's say quarterly basis, on let's say monthly basis. We provide the releases. Now you don't need to wait for the for the month, for the quarter, for the half a year, yearly. You can provide the release on the weekly basis as well. So this is the benefit the enterprises are taking after the adoption of the Azure DevOps. So that's why Azure DevOps in demand, because every company is willing to provide the value to their customer. If let's say something is breaking, if there is a bug into the system, and that bug we have to immediately address. So we have to fix that and quickly we have to deploy. It can be done only if the things are automated. Otherwise, what will happen? A minor bug release will take some time, week, will take some time by week as well. But now it can be done immediately. You reported the bug. If it is a critical one, we can immediately fix it. Because everything is automated, we can immediately provide the release of that bug fix. So this is the benefit we having over there. And between, if you have any query, any doubt, please keep asking your queries through the chat window. I'm looking at the chat, so don't worry, I'm not looking at the chat. Deepak Devate, you are not the late. It's fine. You can rewatch the recording, because in the YouTube we having the option to start the things from the starting and keep asking the things. I hope so far everything is clear to everyone. I'm right. Let's move to the next slide. How the what is the need of the DevOps? So now I'm trying to explain the need of the DevOps with therefore this picture, so that you having the more clear understanding. Of course, whatever the software, whatever the website you are going to build, we always build the software to solve a real world problem. Take a simple example. We are going to have a restaurant, or let's say we having a shop where we are selling the garments. So my requirement is I want to make my shop online so that people can purchase from anywhere. It should not the case. They have to come to my shop to purchase something. They can order it online and we will deliver them. So solution of this problem is build a website where the people can see whatever the garments, what are the things you're selling, and they can order it online. And what are the order the people are placing online, you will get into your system. So somehow you will have your admin activity where you can see how many orders has been placed today and how many payments we have collected today. That calculation also you are willing to automate. So of course it can be done through the software. So before building such software, we have to first understand the client requirement. What the client willing to achieve, what are the various process client willing to automate. So these things are coming under the planning phase. After the planning phase, we decide what we will deliver in the sprint. So we make a plan for the development. So what happens here in the development, we having a set of activity, then we having then a story. So we decide in the, let's say, sprint one, we will deliver these four tasks. In the sprint two, we will deliver next four tasks. Then sprint three, we will deliver this one. And we just make a estimate within 6 months, within 1 year, or within 2 year, depending upon your project complexity, we keep adding the value to the system. So those things we do the development, and of course, what are the things we are developing? They those things are going to be tested by the QA team as well. So we do the proper testing. It is a unit testing we are doing. Then we do integration testing over there, and after doing the integration testing, after doing the testing by the QA team, we think about the release management, deployment over there, and after the deployment onto the testing environment or the staging to the production, we need to monitor it, how it is behaving in the production. Because sometimes it happens, what are the tasks you have designed, you have developed, it is working fine in the dev environment, it is working fine in the, let's say, staging, because we don't have there much traffic. But if the same thing I'm going to deploy to the production, so there my task is taking a lot of time in completion. So we need to figure out what are the challenges we having, what are things we having. So monitoring is also important. Again, based upon that monitoring, we figure out what are the new enhancement we need to do into the system. Again, we do the planning, we do the development, we do the testing, integration, release, and the monitoring. So this complete life cycle we are doing for continuously delivering the value to our customer. Because if you are running a business, so business motive is simply how we can make our business activity, how we can automate the business activity, and how our customer will have the better experience every time whenever it is coming. So this is about the DevOps here. Let's move to the next slide. The next slide is very, very important. Who is DevOps engineer? It's a common question. What are the skill set a person should have to become a DevOps engineer here? So DevOps engineer can be a system administrator. So system administrator is a person who is good in the administrative activity. Let's say in your office you have seen we having the IT and infrastructure people who are doing the networking, who are taking the regular backup of your system. They are managing the complete on-prem resources. So those people are the administrator. So as an administrator, you can learn the DevOps things so that you can automate the build, you can automate the releases. So a person who don't know coding, but he is good in the admin side can be a DevOps engineer. Second side, we having those people who are good in the development. Now they are going to learn how to automate the build and the releases. So as a developer also can become the DevOps engineer. There is a one type of person as well. We having the QA. QA, are you are a tester. So if you are a QA quality analyst, you can also become a DevOps engineer because you did work with the development team, you did work with the operation team as well. If further you are willing to enhance the things, you can also become the things. In some cases, you have seen people might be good in the development, the people might be good in the admin activity as well, but that is a very rare case. So usually, if you are a system administrator, if you are a developer, if you are a QA, or if you're a tech lead and solution architect, you can become the DevOps engineer. Even company prefer the mix of DevOps engineer. Some people they hire from the background of admin or administrator. Some DevOps engineer they hire from the background of development because the combination of this help them to automate the infrastructure things, help them to automate the coding thing because nobody can know both the side. Every person having some strength. Some people having the strength in the coding side, some people having the strength in the infrastructure side. There is a very rare case a person is good in the coding side as well, a person is good in the infra side. So that's why this combination is happening over there. So in the next slide, I have mentioned that role who actually can become the DevOps engineer. If you are a developer, you can also become the DevOps engineer. If you are a quality analyst, you can also become the DevOps engineer, system administrator, tech lead, project lead, solution architect. These people can become the DevOps engineer. Let me take few questions here. So Lakshmi is asking about Azure and DevOps differences. So Azure is a cloud platform, and when it is coming to the DevOps, so in case of DevOps, we having the automating the releases in the build. So DevOps means it is a project development process which is helping us to build the software, which is helping us to automate the releases and build. That is about the DevOps. So for DevOps, we having the various tools to adopt. Ajit, okay. Ajit asking about the difference between DevOps and the AZ204. So Z204 is designed especially for the developer. If you are a developer, you want to know how to build your next .NET based application, your next Node.js based application using the various Azure services. So there you need to explore the AZ204, that is Azure Developer Associate. So Azure Developer Associate training program is designed to build your next project using the various Azure services. So this is about only development, AZ204. When it is coming to the project deployment, project management, in terms of you are going to manage the sprint, you are willing to figure out how much time is going to be took to complete this sprint, how many tasks we have completed. So task management, build management, release management, these things are coming under the DevOps. If you're looking to understand the task management, build management, release management, to automate the test cases and other things, those are coming the AZ400 Azure DevOps. Make sense? So developer who are a developer, so any developer can become the DevOps engineer. It's not about they should know the specific language. If you know the C++, you can also become the DevOps engineer. But of course, you have to decide a tool site, which I will explain in the upcoming slide. So just stay with me. You will have a clear picture. If I'm going to become a DevOps engineer, so what various tools I need to know. Because DevOps is all about learning the combination of various tools. and that combination will be decided what are the technology stack you having. If you are using the .NET based application for the deployment, we having the different tool set. If we having the Java for the deployment, we having the different tool set. So depending upon what are the tool set we have, based upon that we are doing the things simply. I hope things are clear so far. If you have any doubt so far, you can ask in the chat window. So now the question is here how the DevOps work behind the scene. So when it is coming, how the DevOps working, as I said, after the planning phase, we having the multiple developers who are working on that project for building the things there. So here you can see the developers are developing some tasks and they are just pushing the code to the source control. Here the source control can be the Git, it can be your TFS, depending upon what are the version control you are using. And in the demos, we having a concept of CI that is known as continuous integration. So what the continuous integration is doing, as soon as the developer is committing his or her task, CI start building that code and figure out because of this commit, the software is building fine or not. If it is building fine, it will let us know the report as well of impact of that checking. Sometime it might break, it will also let us know. So continuous integration constantly building the code and let us know because of which check-in the code is start breaking. When building is fine, it goes to the release management. So in the release management, you can decide how to deploy the code for the development environment. Then we have in the QA environment. Then we have in the staging. So we test our code to these stages. We first test to the dev stage, then everything is fine running over there, then we move to the QA. If everything running fine to the QA, then we move to the staging. And after the staging, we move to the production. So usually what happens here before moving the code to the production, we having a review stage over there. Or we need the approval. Should I deploy this code to the production node? So that is the part of the things we are doing. So as a operation team, as a DevOps engineer, the people are involved in that case over there. Let's say complete workflow we having there in the DevOps side. Let me move to the next slide. What are the various tools you need to know if you are willing to become a DevOps engineer? So in this picture, I have mentioned the many tools here. So I have created the category for the tools. So we having the tools for the planning. As I said, whatever the project you're going to start, we have to plan that project task. So what are the various tools are available for the planning? So we having the Azure board. If you're going to refer the Azure DevOps, we having the Jira, we having the Trello. So these are the alternative to the Azure board. Even every one tool is an alternative to the another one. So you have to use only one. Either use Azure board, either use Jira, or either use Trello, or you can use other project planning tool as well. Then come to the next. The next one we having the code management. So what are the code the developers are building? That code we have to store on a place from where we can pick up the code and finally create the build. We can create the release. So that thing we do using the version control. So as a version control, you can use Git, you can use TFS. If you are going to proceed with the Git based repository, we have in the GitHub, we have in the Bitbucket, we have in the GitLab. So one of the Git based repository option you can proceed further. If you are going to proceed with the AWS, in AWS we have in the AWS code commit. That option can be used there. When it is coming to the build, means now code is a part of a repository. So from that repository, we have to create the release. So how that release we can create? Release can be created using the Azure pipeline. Release can be created using the Jenkins, Maven, even AWS code pipeline. So these are the another set of tools. One of them you can use to automate the build process, automate the release process of the software. So here also you have to learn one depending upon what are the platform you are selecting that. Then we having the tools for the testing automation. Of course, what are the code you have written? You have written over the various unit test cases. You having their various thing to test. So there we having the Azure test plan. Through that, the things can be tested. We having the Selenium. Selenium is a software again for the testing purpose. Even you can use JMeter as well. So depending upon either you're going to proceed with Azure DevOps only, or either you're planning to use the any other open source or any other combination. So you can go ahead with Selenium and the JMeter there. Then we having the tools for the configuration. So when it is coming to configure the things, because what happens here, what are the code we are going to deploy, behind the scene we need to configure the infrastructure as well. We have to create the virtual machine, we have to create the, let's say, Docker and the Kubernetes based cluster as well. If you need to configure your infrastructure, you can go ahead with the ARM templates, you can go ahead with the Terraform, you can go ahead with the Ansible. Of course, you have to use only one here also. Tools for configuring your infrastructure, these options are available. Now we having the things for the monitoring purpose. How we can monitor the code. So for the monitoring, you can use the application inside. You can use NAC OS, Splunk, CloudWatch. So one of the monitoring tool you can use over there. So if you will look at in this picture, everywhere in this tool option, first option is dedicated to for the Azure DevOps. For tools and planning, we having the Azure board. For tools and code and the code management, we having the Git and TFVC. These two are available in the Azure DevOps. Azure pipelines also to the Azure DevOps. Azure test plan for the testing purpose. They are ARM templates also we having in Azure. Application inside also we having the Azure. So it's a complete Azure side tool. By learning them, you can become the Azure DevOps engineer. Even I have added the things around the AWS also. If I willing to become the AWS things. So for planning, we don't have any specific tool in the AWS. So you can go ahead with Trello and Jira. But for the code management, we have been there AWS code commit. For pipeline, we have been the AWS code pipeline. You can do the Jenkins as well. For the testing purpose, we can integrate their Selenium and any other. For tools configuration, you can prefer Terraform over there. For monitoring, you can go ahead with the Splunk or CloudWatch. One of the option can be used there simply. I hope the things are clear. Now let's look at a path, the DevOps learning path. This is the complete picture will make you clear. So here I have created three paths for the learning. One is a path that is not specific to any cloud. It's a path which you can use anywhere. It can be your on-prem environment. It can be with AWS. It can be with Azure. But here I'm using my own set of tools. So for project planning, you can go ahead with Jira and Trello. For the code management, we having the Git. For CI/CD build and release management, we having the Jenkins. For the configuration, we having the Terraform and Ansible. For the cluster management or containerization, we having the Docker and Kubernetes there. For monitoring, we having the NAC OS over there. So these are tools can be used anywhere. It does not mean you are using on-prem environment, you are using Azure, you are using AWS. But if you want to stick with the Azure-based tool, so Azure having the Azure board for planning, Azure Repo for the code management, Azure pipeline for the build management and the release management, Azure artifact there, application insight, in AWS also, we having the alternative AWS code commit, AWS code pipeline, AWS code build, AWS code deploy, AWS code artifact, and CloudWatch over there. So these are the specific to that platform there. In Azure side, we having the AKS. In Azure, we having the AKS. That is not mentioned in this picture. And one more thing here, I'm not saying only you have to stick with one of the site here. But whenever you're exploring the things, you have to know one site first. Then you can learn the combination of, let's say, Jenkins or Azure pipelines. That is also possible. It is not the case. I cannot use the Jenkins with Azure DevOps. You can use simply. That is not the case. I cannot use Terraform or Ansible with Azure. You can use it. Even Docker and Kubernetes also you can use over there. Even in Azure, we having the AKS. In AWS, we having the EKS. So people are using the different combination, but the entire combination will be decided in this picture. So few things you have to pick from the common DevOps tools. Then few things you have to pick from the cloud specific, Azure or AWS. I hope the things are more clear now. So this is about the learning path. If you have any query, any doubt about this, please do ask. Okay, someone asking what are the building blocks or architecture flow for the Azure DevOps operation from the start to end for a DevOps engineer should know. I mentioned already. So Azure board is for planning, Azure Repo for the code management. So this will be the flow of the build. You have to things. If you will recap the session, I have mentioned the flow of the DevOps process as well. How we do the things over there, how the things are happening. So everything is mentioned here in a flow. What you should do first, what should do next, then another way. Umesh, your answer I have already given to you. Docker and Kubernetes also you have to use. You can use with Azure as well and AWS. There is no such things. Okay, someone asking, I did visa in 2012, did MBA in 2016, doing job in finance sector, but I want to change my job in IT sector. Can I become a DevOps engineer? Of course, you can become, but again, I will say you have to put a lot of effort as well for learning the things because DevOps engineer path is not easy. I'm telling you to everyone, whether you are a developer, whether you are a administrator. Many people think the DevOps engineer's path is easy to follow. No, it's not easy to follow because we having the many issues at the time of configuration, at the time of releases. There, it's need a lot of patience. It's a job of completely of patience. You need more patience than developers and any other one because in case of development, in case of writing the code, help is available on let's say Stack Overflow. Even now we have in the chat GPT that can quickly let you know, but in DevOps it's your infrastructure, it's your related to the system issues. So there you need to put more patience. So things can be possible, I'm not denying, but you have to be more good in configuration and doing the other things. I hope it is clear now. A commonly location, these are the topics you have to only explore. And inside each section, we having the subtopic as well. I have not mentioned the subtopic. These are the only the main topic I have mentioned. Inside them, you have to explore the subtopic as well. But this is the only thing you have to explore. Left hand side, the common DevOps tools and the tools specific to the Azure DevOps are sufficient. Simply. How much average time to learn this time? Who know little about DevOps? Okay. So if you're coming to learning these Azure DevOps tool, what I feel at least 2 months is the time you have to put in learning. Because in 1 month the things are not possible to do everything. If you want to be good in Azure DevOps, at least 2 months you have to invest for learning, practicing all these tools. Because not about the case you just did one workflow. Let's take the simple example. You're going to deploy a application on Azure DevOps. So it's not the case you just tested only the .NET based application deployment, does the Node.js application deployment as well, does the Angular application deployment as well, React application deployment as well, and figure out what are the challenges you are facing with Azure, sorry, Angular, what challenge you're facing with Azure, with React, what challenge you're facing with .NET. So many combination of the application you should test whenever you're doing the deployment so that you having the more expertise, more practice. So learning the DevOps is practicing the a lot of labs, a lot of scenario. You have to test yourself. Then you will get the confidence there. I hope it is clear. I'm right. So I hope things are fine so far. Let's move to the next slide. So what are the JD? Actually, we having for the DevOps engineer. If we're looking at the DevOps engineer JD, let me make it on full screen. I'm hiding to myself here now. Just look at this picture. So I'm just adding here two JD, which I took from the Naukri.com, of course. So one JD is about the Azure DevOps engineer. One is about the AWS DevOps engineer. So if you're looking at in the left hand side, it's a JD around the Azure DevOps engineer, where they're expecting the person should be good in the Azure, CI/CD, Jenkins, Docker, and Kubernetes. Even the person should have the understanding about Linux, Unix, and many more. It's a complete profile they're expecting. The person should be good in the configuration infrastructure side. And another side, we having the profile that is aligned with the AWS. So what they're expecting in AWS side, they're expecting the person should have the experience in AWS, Docker, Kubernetes, CloudFormation, Terraform, scripting, many more. And here, the person should have the experience in EC2, VPC, S3, as AWS Lambda, API Gateway, Python for the scripting language. Because many people might ask here, what are the language you should know? So Python is a scripting language the people commonly prefer. So you should know the Python basic, and so that you can able to write the script over there for task automation. Even if you will see the salaries are also almost same in both case. Experience 4 to 6 year, here also 4 to 6 year. They are giving 8.5 lakhs to 14 lakhs per annum. Here also they are giving 6 lakhs to the 14 lakhs. So there is not much difference if you are going to be apply for a Azure DevOps engineer or AWS DevOps engineer. So this is the A clear JD I have just shown to you so that you will have the understanding. Even if we look at the many other jobs opening available on various job portals, like we having the, uh, I would say Naukri, we having let's say Indeed.com. This is this is the picture I have taken from the Indeed.com, where they just trying to show what is the average salary for a DevOps engineer, a Capgemini, Infosys, HCL, Mindtree, and many other language. Sorry, in many other companies. So this is the average salary, 8 point lakhs to, it can go to the 30 lakhs, it can go to the 40 lakhs as well. It depends upon what are the experience you having, what are the expertise you having. But we having a very good salary in this job role. The reason behind it, we don't have the good DevOps engineer. If you are good in the tooling, if you are good in the automation of the releases in the build, what are the tools are mentioned in the left hand side, definitely the company are ready to pay you. As I said again, it's a job of patience. So make sure you having the patience whenever you are doing the configuration, whenever you are doing the setup, so that the things can be done over there. I hope now you having the more clarity about it. So guys, here I hope whatever session I took here, you having the complete understanding how to become a DevOps engineer, what can be the salary, who can become the DevOps engineer. I try to explain each and everything about it. Now, if you have any query, any doubt, please do ask over there. So we asking general, is a developer salary higher than DevOps engineer salary? In general, if you will ask the things, of course, DevOps engineer salary will be high from the developer, but it's not every time true. It depends upon your experience, it depends upon the skill set. Because salary will be decided based upon your skill set and the experience. Okay. Only the role cannot decide the salary. Of course, if you are going to start the things as a fresher and as let's say as the experience of 6 months, let's say 1 year, salary will be high in the DevOps engineer side. So if you are looking at the salary of a developer having a 6 month experience, 1 year of experience, developer will get the less salary from a DevOps engineer. But every time it's not correct. As the experience will change, of course salary will also be changed. Anything else? So guys, if you are coming to the channel first time, I request to the everyone, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the bell icon so that the information about such webinar you will get to know. Even we keep uploading the many course videos. If you are exploring the Azure, if you are exploring the .NET, if you are exploring the Java, you are exploring the data structure and many more, we are uploading the videos around each technology. So whether you are a fresher, whether you are experienced, for all the people, we having the video course on YouTube. So another query, guys, do you have anyone who want to ask the things? So I hope you liked it, you able to get the answer of your queries. Okay, there is one more question. Jess is asking, which one is better, full stack developer or DevOps engineer? My answer is both are better. It depends upon your interest. Some people like to write the code, some people don't like to write the code, they like to play with the tools. If you are a person who like to write the code, go ahead with the full stack developer. If you are not a person who actually having the interest in the coding, but you having the interest to play with the tools in terms of configuration, in terms of various testing, go ahead with the DevOps engineer. That's fine. In long term, both are doing the things well. I will tell you the case, a degree never decide your salary. The skill, interpersonal skill, and those things are decide your salary. Always remember. I've seen many people who are having the DevOps engineer not getting the good salary because the company need the expert. So you have to keep working on the skill set. So everywhere you have to keep working on the skill set. And it's not the case if you will become the developer, you cannot become the DevOps engineer. You can become DevOps engineer later on as well. Even many people who are right now developer, they are now exploring the DevOps. Even they are doing the things of the DevOps engineer as well. So there is a two role there. One is complete DevOps engineer role. One is a development plus DevOps. So the people who are good in the development, they are doing the dev plus ops together. Who are not good in the coding, they are doing only ops part, operation part. I hope makes sense. Okay, Prashant asking, will we learn Azure tools for DevOps engineer, Azure DevOps engineer course? Prashant, the thing is, there are two courses around it. One is Azure administrator, another one is an Azure DevOps engineer. Even if I look at the Microsoft official curriculum as well, so Microsoft always said first you have to pass either AZ-104 exam or either AZ-204 exam. So first be a developer or be a administrator, then learn Azure DevOps. There is a two training we having over there. If you're looking for a bundle package, that is also there. That is a Azure, that is a DevOps engineer with Azure, where we will first cover Azure, then we will cover the DevOps. This one. Srinivas, if you're having the 10 years of experience and you're already in the development, so suggestion is here first learn the Azure developer. Directly, you should not learn the Azure DevOps. That is the second step. First step is you have to learn either Azure developer or either Azure administrator. Then only you can go to the Azure DevOps. Directly, you cannot go to the Azure DevOps. As a developer, you should learn the Azure 204 first, then learn Azure 400. That's all. Thank you, Jayesh, for your feedback about the session. You are able to get the answer of your queries. What about others? You having the 5 minutes more. At 10 o'clock, I will wrap this session. So, what are the queries? What are the doubts you having? Please keep asking. Any question you can ask. It's not about only Azure DevOps. If you having the question about .NET, Angular, Node, DSA, any common question, whatever you having, it's open now. You can ask any question, any technology. Thank you, Prasad, for sharing your feedback. You like it. Thank you, Mesh, for sharing your feedback. What about others? So, guys, here every Friday we do set session. If you are willing to join such session on every Friday, so do like and subscribe. So on every Friday, we having a new topic to discuss with you. So what are the question? What are the doubts you having? You can keep asking. You can keep discussing. Even we try to come up with a new mentor as well from the industry who is expert in a particular domain, in a particular technology, so that he and she can share his journey experience with you. Okay, Nivas, thank you for the things. If you're willing to learn the Azure DevOps, so make sure you have explored already all the Azure services. Then go for the Azure DevOps. Directly, you cannot go for the Azure DevOps. You need to know first Azure there. If you're bachelor in, I think, chemical or chemistry, whatever you have, shall I prefer to be in this field? Again, I'm telling to the people who are from the non-IT background. This field you can do, but it's not easy. I'm telling you. Even the people who already having the IT degree, BSc IT, BCA, BTech IT, they are doing the struggle. So if you are from completely non-IT background, so for you, effort will be double initially. If you having the patience to do that one, only patience will not help you having a proper guidance as well. Only under the proper particular guidance and you having the patience, you like to work on the computer, you like to write the coding, then only think about it. Otherwise, not. I have 7 years experience in .NET technology, but not a master of universe. So what should I learn? So Jayesh Rohit, trust me, no one is master in any technology because as a developer, people just know how to build the software. So don't think the others people are master. No one is master. They just know the technology, what the role they having is but around. Always, if you're willing to be good in that particular technology, you have to keep learning. Keep referring the articles, keep referring the videos. Then slowly you will learn the things. Even if you will, until you will not discuss, until you are not the part of a technical community. Because what happens with many people are not active in the technical community. So try to see what are the various meetups you having around you. Let's say as we having the session every Friday, you can join us, see what are the question people are asking, how the answer I'm giving over there. If you having the doubt around the particular technology, just get the answer. So you have to be active. Then only you will have the confidence, you will have the expertise. Okay. There is a golden statement: if you want to be the rich, just stand in the crowd or in between the rich people. One day you will become the rich. So you have to change your friend circle. Until you do not change the friend circle, you cannot do the things. Until you will not discuss the technical stuff with the people who actually speaking around those topic, you will not listen those people answer whatever the experience they having, they share the things. Because this is the way only the people learn. It's not the time like everything you will explore, everything you can learn. Learn from the experience of other people as well. Okay, guys, thank you for joining today's session. Bye.